In the shadowy corners of the city, where the lights of civilization fade into unsettling shadows, a man whose name was Matthias wandered in search of a fleeting respite from the daily monotony. Under the veil of night, his eager gaze swept over the yellowed pages of the newspaper, eager to find something that could spark a glimmer of excitement in his numbed existence. It was then that his eyes halted at an advertisement, a sinister yet irresistibly intriguing invitation. A woman self-styled Lilith offered to fulfill all the fantasies of those daring enough to seek her out. The name whispered like a forbidden secret in his ears, arousing latent curiosity in a frenzy of dark desires. "Who are you, Lilith?" Matthias murmured to himself as his fingers raced over the printed letters with growing urgency. The promise of adventure and forbidden pleasure hung in the air like an irresistible invitation, and he felt a surge of excitement mixed with a touch of apprehension. Determined to plunge into the depths of the unknown, Matthias devised a plan to find this enigmatic woman. Driven by a mixture of curiosity and desire, he found himself drawn into a dangerous game of seduction and mystery, where the boundaries between reality and imagination grew increasingly blurred. Amidst the shadows of the night, Matthias embarked on a journey that would push him to the limits of his own sanity and desire, where truth lay hidden between the lines of the darkest, deepest desires. And so, as the moon loomed over the city in eerie silence, the quest for Lilith unleashed a series of events that defied all human understanding, entwining him in a labyrinth of mystery, emotion, and terror. Matthias held the phone with a trembling hand, his heart pulsating with a mixture of excitement and apprehension as he dialed the number from the advertisement. Each press of the keypad was like an echo of uncertainty reverberating in his mind, but he persisted, driven by the desire to unravel the mystery lurking behind the shadows. After a few rings, a seductive voice answered from the other end of the line, casting him under a hypnotic spell with its melodious words and tempting promises. Matthias could barely contain the excitement bubbling within him as he finally scheduled the meeting with Lilith. The rendezvous was set for 2 days hence at 11 o'clock at night, in a distant location that would require a 3-hour drive from his home. As he hung up the phone, Matthias felt a shiver run down his spine, a sensation of anticipation mixed with a touch of fear. He knew he was about to embark on a journey that would take him beyond the bounds of the known, to a world where normal rules no longer applied. With the meeting rapidly approaching, Matthias felt propelled by a growing urgency, an imperative need to discover what awaited behind Lilith's enigmatic mask. Matthias sat in his home, immersed in the twilight that enveloped the surroundings like a dark cloak. His thoughts wandered through the lonely corridors of his mind, echoing with the monotonous echoes of a life devoid of grand events. As he watched the shadows dance on the walls, his imagination came to life, painting a vivid picture of what might await him in the night with Lilith. He saw himself plunging into a world of pleasure and excitement, where the deepest, darkest desires found their wildest expression. His mind wove fantasies of clandestine encounters, of seduction and mystery, where time unraveled into a tangle of intense sensations and forbidden pleasures. But even amidst the imagined delights, a shadow of doubt hung over Matthias, a fleeting sense of fear and uncertainty. After all, who was Lilith? What did she represent? And what dark secrets did she hold beneath her seductive mask? Despite the unanswered questions echoing in his mind, Matthias found himself irresistibly drawn to the enigma that was Lilith. With his heart racing with anticipation of the unknown, he prepared to dive headlong into the night that awaited him, where the boundaries between reality and fantasy merged in a whirlwind of emotions and uncontrollable desires. Matthias plunged into a frenzied search for Lilith's address, his eager fingers typing frantically on the computer keyboard as he scoured the vastness of the internet for clues. His heart pounded irregularly as he discovered that the meeting place was on the other side of the city, in a peripheral region shrouded in shadows and mystery. As he studied the city map, Matthias was overcome by a mixture of conflicting emotions. On one hand, there was a palpable excitement at the prospect of the unknown, an electric buzz of anticipation that propelled him forward. On the other hand, there was a sense of unease, a whispering voice in his mind warning him of the dangers lurking in the shadows. But Matthias could not retreat now. Driven by fierce determination, he prepared to face the challenges that awaited him on the other side of the city, where Lilith's secrets waited to be unraveled. With each step toward the unknown, he found himself increasingly immersed in a whirlwind of intense emotions and unfathomable mysteries as time inexorably ticked away to the appointed meeting with destiny. The awaited day of the rendezvous arrived, and Matthias felt the weight of expectation upon his shoulders. He knew that Lilith was not a cheap woman, and he hoped that the night ahead would be worth every penny. With this thought in mind, he set off in his car, determined to discover what lay behind the enigmatic facade of the woman who promised to fulfill all his fantasies. The 3-hour journey seemed like an eternity, each mile traveled only increasing the anxiety bubbling within Matthias. As the city lights faded in the rearview mirror, he found himself increasingly immersed in a sea of expectations and fears. Finally, the car stopped in front of Lilith's house, a shadowy structure that loomed like a silent guardian of the secrets hidden within its walls. Matthias felt a shiver run down his spine as he contemplated the imposing structure before him, a mixture of fear and excitement bubbling in his chest. With his heart beating irregularly, Matthias took the first step towards the unknown, ready to dive headfirst into the night that awaited him. He knew that nothing would be the same after this encounter, and he was willing to face whatever came his way in pursuit of the promise of pleasure and mystery that Lilith represented. Standing in front of Lilith's house, Matthias didn't feel the fatigue of the long journey weighing on his shoulders. Despite the hours on the road, he had made a few stops at gas stations along the way, taking the opportunity to relax and refuel the car. Now, facing the enigmatic residence, his senses were heightened, every nerve tingling with the excitement of the imminent moment. As he observed the dimly lit street illuminated by street lamps, Matthias noticed the absence of any living soul around him. There was no movement, no sound other than the distant hum of nocturnal insects. A sense of unease settled in his mind as he wondered what lurked in the silent shadows around him. Despite this, Matthias did not recoil. He was determined to press on, to explore the mysteries that awaited inside Lilith's house. With his heart racing in his chest, he took a hesitant step towards the entrance, ready to face whatever he found on the other side of the door. Matthias pressed the doorbell of the house with a growing sense of unease. For a few endless minutes, heavy silence enveloped him like an oppressive veil, fueling the flames of doubt flickering in his mind. An inner voice whispered that perhaps he had fallen into a trap, that Lilith was nothing more than a skilled scammer taking advantage of the unsuspecting. However, Matthias refused to succumb to despair. With fierce determination, he persisted, pressing the doorbell again impatiently. And then, as if in response to his silent prayers, he heard the muffled sound of footsteps approaching the door. Before him stood a sight that took Matthias's breath away. A stunning woman with skin as fair as moonlight and hair as dark as the night regarded him with penetrating eyes full of mystery and seduction. Matthias felt momentarily stunned by her beauty, unable to look away from the mesmerizing figure before him. Collecting himself, Matthias introduced himself, his voice sounding more trembling than he would have liked. In response, the woman smiled, an enigmatic smile that seemed to contain ancient secrets and forbidden promises. "I am Lilith," she said, her voice as soft as a seductive whisper in the darkness of the night. And with those simple words, Matthias felt himself drawn into a world of mystery and emotion beyond his wildest imagination. With a graceful gesture, Lilith invited Matthias into her house. He followed her cautiously, his senses alert as he observed every detail of the surroundings. The main room was decorated with antique furniture and dark tapestries, creating an atmosphere of mystery and elegance. Lilith poured a drink for Matthias, a dark potion contained in a cut crystal glass. She smiled enigmatically as he hesitated for a moment before bringing the liquid to his lips and tasting the intoxicating flavor that spread through his mouth. With a mysterious gleam in her eyes, Lilith explained that the drink was an ancient formula, known to few, that promised to invigorate body and soul. She spoke with a conviction that echoed through the tense silence of the room, her graceful gestures revealing an unwavering confidence in her knowledge and abilities. As Matthias took another sip of the drink, He felt enveloped by a sensation of warmth and vitality spreading through his body. A feeling of euphoria washed over him, mixed with a hint of fear of the unknown. He knew he had plunged into a world of mystery and danger, but at the same time he couldn't resist the irresistible allure of Lilith and her promises of pleasure and power beyond imagination. Lilith looked at Matthias with a penetrating expression, her eyes shining with an intensity that seemed to pierce his soul. She spoke with a soft voice but laden with authority, explaining that she did not receive just anyone into her house. According to her, it depended on the energies she felt upon first contact, a sensitivity that guided her in the selection of her visitors. As she spoke, Lilith revealed a little more about her sensitive nature, mentioning how she could feel the subtle vibrations of the universe around her. She seemed shrouded in a veil of mystery, an aura of secrets and power that left Matthias intrigued and fascinated at the same time. Matthias was drawn to Lilith's enigmatic presence, trying to decipher the hidden secrets behind her deep eyes and imposing posture. She was like a figure from a dark fairy tale, a woman whose power and mystery transcended the boundaries of known reality. As he silently observed Lilith, Matthias felt enveloped by a sense of admiration and awe in the face of the magnificence of the mysterious woman before him. He knew he was about to plunge into a world of mystery and danger, but at the same time he couldn't resist the irresistible fascination she exerted over him. Lilith continued to speak with a wisdom that transcended time, her words flowing like a river of accumulated knowledge over the centuries. She addressed the subject of men with remarkable insight, observing how their characteristics and behaviors had not significantly changed over the past 3,000 years. Despite her youthful appearance, Lilith exuded an aura of experience and understanding that left Matthias intrigued. She seemed to possess a deep understanding of human nature, as if she had lived countless lives and witnessed the course of history unfold before her eyes. Matthias couldn't help but notice the apparent contradiction between Lilith's youthfulness and the millennia-old wisdom she demonstrated. With an ironic smile, he commented that she must have researched extensively about men to have acquired such understanding. A spark of admiration gleamed in his eyes as he watched Lilith, impressed by the depth of her insight in the mystery that surrounded her. Lilith looked at Matthias with a gleam in her eyes, promising him an experience that few men had the privilege of experiencing. She spoke with a seductive confidence, suggesting that the payment would be worth every moment invested. Upon hearing these words, a faint smile danced on Matthias's lips, echoed by Lilith's enigmatic smile. With a soft and mysterious voice, Lilith assured Matthias that he was about to be part of something truly incredible. He felt drawn to her confident demeanor and the promise of adventure she represented, his mind spinning with anticipation as he imagined what she had in store for him that night. The tension in the air was palpable, an electricity charged with expectation and desire. Matthias felt increasingly enveloped by Lilith's magnetic aura, unable to resist the irresistible call of the unknown. As he surrendered to the promise of a night filled with mystery and excitement, his mind was flooded with infinite possibilities, each more thrilling than the last. With an elegant and graceful gesture, Lilith picked up the crystal bottle again and offered more of the mysterious drink to Matthias. The dark liquid shimmered in the soft light of the room, reflecting a spectrum of deep colors that seemed to pulse with their own energy. "Some more?" she asked, her voice soft and inviting as she poured Matthias's glass without waiting for a response. The drink flowed like liquid silk, filling the glass with a promise of sensations and experiences beyond comprehension. Matthias accepted the offer, bringing the glass to his lips with a mixture of curiosity and desire. The complex flavor of the drink spread through his mouth, filling him with a sensation of warmth and vigor that seemed to penetrate his soul. He felt his inhibitions slowly dissolve, replaced by a renewed courage and a burning desire to explore the unknown. As Matthias drank, Lilith watched him with attentive eyes and an enigmatic smile on her lips. "Tonight will be unforgettable," she murmured, her words imbued with a certainty that made Matthias's heart race. He felt increasingly drawn to Lilith, fascinated by the combination of mystery and wisdom she exuded. With each sip, reality seemed to recede a little more, immersing him in a world of infinite possibilities where Lilith was the sole guide. Matthias couldn't help but imagine what the night held, eager to uncover the secrets hidden behind Lilith's deep and seductive eyes. Lilith rose with an almost ethereal elegance and walked to a discreet door in the corner of the room. She cast a penetrating look at Matthias, making a subtle gesture with her hand for him to follow. Without hesitation, Matthias stood up, feeling the excitement grow in his chest as he followed her down the dimly lit hallway. The hallway walls were covered in dancing shadows, created by the faint lighting from small lamps along the way. Each step echoed softly in the silence, heightening the sense of mystery and anticipation. Finally, they reached a sturdy door. Lilith opened it slowly, revealing a room that was far from ordinary. Matthias entered and was immediately captivated by the unique atmosphere of the place. The walls were covered with intricate drawings and unknown symbols, which seemed to vibrate with their own energy. He couldn't discern their meaning, but he felt strangely drawn to them. In the center of the room, a majestic bed dominated the space. It was an impressive piece of furniture, with a carved headboard and silk sheets that reflected the light of the candles illuminating the room. The candle flames cast flickering shadows that brought the drawings on the walls to life, creating a sense of movement and mystery. Lilith turned to Matthias, her gaze intense and full of unspoken promises. "This is the place where your deepest desires will become reality," she said softly, her voice echoing with a depth that sent a shiver down Matthias's spine. He knew he was about to experience something extraordinary, something that would transcend any previous experience. With his heart racing and his mind buzzing with anticipation, Matthias followed Lilith once again, ready to surrender to the secrets that this night in this mysterious room held. Lilith asked Matthias to sit on the bed and wait for her. "I'll be back soon," she murmured with an enigmatic smile before disappearing through the door, leaving Matthias alone in the mysterious room. He sat on the bed, feeling the softness of the silk sheets beneath his hands. His mind buzzed with anticipation and curiosity, wondering what Lilith might be preparing. Despite the peculiar surroundings, with the strange drawings on the walls and the soft candlelight, Matthias felt more fascinated than uneasy. The atmosphere of the room was charged with a subtle, almost palpable energy that enveloped him like an embrace. He examined the symbols on the walls, trying to decipher their meaning, but soon gave up, letting himself be carried away by the sense of mystery that permeated the place. Each passing second heightened Matthias's anticipation. He took deep breaths, trying to calm his racing heart. The silence of the room was broken only by the gentle crackling of the candles, casting dancing and hypnotic shadows around him. Time seemed to stretch indefinitely as Matthias awaited Lilith's return. Although the environment was strange, he felt surprisingly calm, as if a part of him knew that something extraordinary was about to happen. With his eyes fixed on the door Lilith had exited through, he mentally prepared himself for the experience to come, confident that the night would be unforgettable. So he remained seated, immersed in thoughts and expectations, while the room around him pulsed with the promise of secrets about to be revealed. Matthias, while waiting for Lilith's return, eventually fell asleep on the bed, enveloped by the mysterious atmosphere of the room. When he finally woke up, he didn't feel well. A sense of weakness and fatigue dominated his body, as if his vital energy had been drained from his essence. Rubbing his temples, Matthias tried to attribute the uncomfortable feeling to the effect of the drink he had consumed earlier. However, his discomfort persisted, becoming increasingly oppressive as he tried to rise from the bed. It was then that he noticed Lilith's presence before him. Her lips curled into a sinister smile, a malicious gleam flickering in her eyes. Matthias tried to explain that he had fallen asleep and wasn't feeling well, expressing his desire to leave. However, his hope was quickly dashed when Lilith responded with a soft but authoritative voice. She told Matthias that he couldn't leave, that his fate was sealed, and that he was destined to remain there, under her dominion. A sense of panic began to creep into Matthias's mind as he struggled against the feeling of entrapment closing in around him. He tried to protest, to argue, but the words seemed to escape him as reality dissolved into a haze of uncertainty and fear. Faced with the terrifying prospect unfolding before him, Matthias felt himself plunging into an abyss of despair and hopelessness. He was trapped in a dangerous game with an adversary whose intentions were as dark as the night that surrounded them. And thus he realized with a chill of horror that his journey was only beginning, and the shadows around him concealed terrible secrets that he was destined to uncover. Still lying on the bed, Matthias tried to gather the strength to question Lilith. "What are you talking about?" he asked, his voice trembling with weakness. "I'm not feeling well. I need to leave." Lilith responded with a cold laugh that echoed through the room. "That will not be possible, my dear. You now belong to me," she said, slowly approaching. "You are not the first, and you will not be the last man to fall into my traps over the centuries." Matthias, feeling increasingly weak and confused, began to think that Lilith had gone mad. He tried to stand, but his strength abandoned him, leaving him trapped on the bed, helpless. "What do you mean?" he murmured, his mind spinning with fear and disbelief. Lilith smiled, a smile full of malice. "You will come to know my true nature," she said, her voice laden with a sinister threat. "I am an ancient being, traveling through time and space, devouring those foolish enough to fall into my traps." Matthias felt a shiver of terror run down his spine. He was trapped, with no escape, in the clutches of a creature beyond his comprehension. Deeply regretting having responded to the enigmatic ad, he realized with growing despair that he might have fallen into a dangerous snare. Lilith observed the expression of panic and regret on Matthias's face, her eyes gleaming with sadistic pleasure. "It's no use regretting now," she said softly, almost as if consoling a child. "You made your choice, and now you must face the consequences." As the darkness seemed to close in around Matthias, he realized he was completely at Lilith's mercy. His mind was filled with questions and fears, but one thing was certain. He was trapped in a nightmare from which he didn't know how to escape. Lilith began to laugh, the sound reverberating through the walls of the room. With an expression of sadistic pleasure, she initiated a terrifying transformation. Black wings sprouted from her back, tearing through her clothing with a sinister sound. Her face changed, becoming more bestial, while horns erupted from her head. Sharp teeth replaced the seductive smiles, and a long, scaly tail developed, whipping the air with a menacing hiss. Matthias, paralyzed by panic, watched helplessly as Lilith's figure metamorphosed into a horrendous beast before his eyes. Every attempt to move or scream was futile, his body gripped by paralyzing terror. His wide eyes reflected the image of the infernal creature now staring at him with malice. Lilith, now fully transformed, advanced on Matthias with inhuman ferocity, her laughter filling the air with a terrifying cacophony. Matthias felt a shiver of pure fear as his vision began to darken, his life force being drained from his body. In his last glimpse of consciousness, Matthias understood that his fate was sealed. He was not the first, and tragically, would not be the last to fall into the clutches of this ancient, predatory entity. The darkness engulfed him completely, sealing his fate under Lilith's demonic gaze.